Hello and welcome. In this video lecture, we will be talking about types of user-defined functions in C programming. Up till this point, we have seen that basically there are two types of functions available in C programming. One is the functions which are already present in the system, and the other one, the functions which user can define. Now in this video, we will be talking about the user-defined functions which are not built-in functions, and we can also define here that what could be types of functions defined by a user. So it is based on two factors, as you can see on the screen, based on arguments and the return value. So we can define the user-defined functions into four categories. First is the function in which we do not pass any argument, that means no arguments passed, and the function will not return any value, that is no return. The second combination is in which no argument is passed, but there will be a return value in the function. The third category is where arguments are passed, but the function will return no value. And the final combination is fourth one, in which we have the arguments that are passed as well as the function returns a value. So it's the combination of arguments and return value presence. No argument, no return. No argument but a return, argument but no return, an argument and a return. So we will be understanding the difference between all four categories by having a same programming example. That means the objective of the example will remain same, but we will be doing that in a manner so that we can cover all the four types of categories. So let's move on with the first one, that is no arguments passed and no return value. As you can see here, this is a program to check that the inputted number is whether it is a prime number or not. So here basically we are talking about a function. The name of the function is check prime number. So if you remember, in this is our prototype function that we have declared about the return value and what the function will do, what parameters it will take, and this is the information for the compiler purposes. We have already discussed that in previous video. If you forget it, you can check it out, the prototype function video in the channel. Now here the check prime number function, it takes input from user and checks whether it is a prime number or not and displays it on the screen. So the code of that what this check prime number will do is written here. As you can see, this is my function body. What this function will do, it is written over here. Now when we make a call, this is a function call. Remember, function call is inside the main block. Okay, so this is the function call, and you can see that while calling the function, we have just written the name of the function, check prime number, and inside the parenthesis we haven't passed any argument. So it is mentioned here that argument is not passed. Now as you can see that return type is void in the function. You can see here, this is my return type of the function, and when it is written void, that means after execution this function will not return anything. Okay, so the empty parenthesis, that means it's a function call with no argument passed. the return type written void, hence no value is returned from the function. So ultimately what we have done, we have written one function to check the whether the given number or inputted number by user is a prime number or not. So once we execute this main source code, the function will be called. Our control will jump to the function body. Inside the body, the code is written that you scan a number from the user and then you check for the condition. If the flag is 1 as per the condition of whether it is a prime or not, it will display such a statement. Okay, so this is the example of where there is no argument passed into the function and there is a no return. Now let us move ahead to the second category, that is no arguments passed but a return value is received by the function. So we'll be modifying the same code a little bit. Let's see. Again, this is the function prototype. Okay, integer, get integer. Okay, now as you can see, with the prototype as well as where we have defined the body of the function, okay, both the places we have written the return value type. It is unlikely like a previous video. I'm switching the screen back. Previously it was a void return type. Now in this case it is an integer return type. That means after execution this function will return an integer value. Okay, so now inside the code, in the main source code, what we have written that the value of flag is going to decide whether the given number is prime or not. But in this situation, this get integer function is taking the input from the user and returning that value. Here it is written return n. So the value of n in the main source code is, this function will return n and it will be replaced here because this is my function call. As it is written in the example set, no argument passed. While calling the function get integer, we haven't written anything inside the braces. This is empty braces. That means no arguments are passed. But what is happening? This function will return the value of n. So once this body will be executed, the value of n which is returned, which is of integer type, that will be replaced here in this main source code. And based on this value, our rest of the code will start executing, and depending on the value, it will print the whether the given number is prime or not. I hope you must have understood. You can pause the screen in between and then you can write the similar code and compare. Now let us move towards the third category of in which argument is passed but there is no return value by the function. And again I'm going to modify the same code. Now this time I have changed the name of the function. This is, I hope you must have remembered up till now, this is our prototype, and in prototype we have a return type void. So once you see void written over there in any function, that means this function is going to return nothing. Now inside the main source code we have made a function call here. This is my function call, and function call is done with one argument. This is my argument. Okay, this n is passed to the function. So this n will be now replaced here with the formal parameters of the function written inside the body of the function. This is my body of function. I'm writing these things so that you remember it. Okay, so the value n is passed, and based on this value our whole programming logic is working here to check. And the value of flag is depending based on the value of this n, which is being passed as an argument. Okay, but as you can see, void is written in the return type here also. Okay, so it is a function which is not going to return anything. The purpose of the function is it will just display the message based on the logic. Whatever be the value of n, it will decide whether it has to print the if statement or else statement. And in the last, we have nothing left in our main source code. Okay, so the integer value entered by the user is passed to check, prime and display function. Okay, it is passed, and this function will check whether the argument passed is a prime number or not, and it will simply display the message. Let's move on to the fourth category, in which arguments passed and the return value is also present. The same programming code I've modified a little bit, so I'm again going to start. I hope up till now you must be aware of this is my prototype of function, and the function has an integer return value. Okay, and this is the place where we have a function call, and function is called with an argument n. So this is the argument. Okay, what we have done, we have taken the positive integer from the user side, and we have passed this value to the function. Now what will happen once we pass this value to the function, our control will jump here in the function, and whatever written inside the body of function, this is our body, it will execute. And because here there is a return statement, so it will return something at this location. That means the returning value will decide that what will be my updated value in the flag, and based on the value of flag we are going to display if or else statements, right? So this is the example in which we have passed the argument in the function, and the function is also returning a value. Remember, if in front of function name, if any type is mentioned, whether it is integer, float or whatever data type, the function will return such data type value only. If it is written void, that means function is not going to return anything. Okay, so the input from the user is passed to check prime number function, and you can see here in the function call we have given the argument. It will check whether the given argument is a prime number or not. The function returns something. If the passed argument is non-prime number, the function will return 1. The return value is assigned to the flag variable, and depending on the flag, whether it is 0 or 1, the appropriate message will be printed from the main function. Now your question can be that which approach is better? Well, it depends on the problem you're trying to solve. In the cases passing argument and returning a value from the function, we can say that the example number 4, which we are currently seeing on the screen, it is the best way to do so. But a function should perform a specific task, so it depends on your requirement that what task you are having in your logic, what is important for you, how a less dependent code you want to design. And the check prime number function doesn't take input from user, nor it displays the appropriate message. It only checks whether a number is prime or not. So specifically focus on that whenever you design a function, the function should come up with a result. Like in this example, function is returning a certain value, and the main source program is deciding that based on the value what should be the decision. Okay, that's all in this video. Thank you for watching.